wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
He's in front of his truck. He might have a rifle.
This week on Wardens,
it's just being in the right spot at the right time and having the right people drive by.
We're just gonna check and see where they're coming from.
We're always trying to think of new investigative techniques and sort of new patrol techniques.
in Michigan, you can hunt whitetails with a bow and arrow for 93 days, from October 1st to January 1st. The regular firearm season lasts 16 days, from November 15th to November 30th. But the management of the deer herd is year-round, with wildlife biologists working hand-in-hand with conservation officers.
Conservation officers are essential to making sure that the deer regulations are enforced. The deer regulations, again, are there to protect the deer herd and manage the method and matter of take. And then also the conservation officers are there to make sure the hunters are safe, as well as the non-hunters out there during hunting season. So without the conservation officers, we wouldn't have regulations enforced and we would have a less safe environment for hunting.
It's the most heavily patrolled time of the year for the state's 250 conservation officers, who look forward to the increase in activity.
When you wake up in the morning and you see frost on the ground, as a hunter, a deer hunter, that makes you excited because you're like, this is a good day. People, deer are going to be moving. But as a conservation officer, you know that the hunters are going to be in the woods doing the same thing. So you know you're going to be able to go out and make contacts, see people, and whether or not there's violations or not, it just kind of depends on the day, what you have going on.
During deer season, COs utilize a variety of techniques to make sure everyone is playing by the rules. One way they try to combat road hunting and illegally taking deer on private property is through the use of deer decoys. In Michigan's District 6,
backstory of this, there's been some trespassing going on, people stealing cameras, tree stands. A couple weeks ago, someone actually shot a deer in the middle of the day and left it lay. So it kind of got this complaint and thought it'd be a good idea to set it up. There's no houses other than where you guys are gonna be stationed at. No other houses on the road, so it's perfect. It's great spot, one way in or two ways in, and it's one road, so easy enough.
The decoy is set up in an alfalfa field on private property. Officers station themselves at each end of the road, allowing them to close in on any potential suspect and shutting down any escape routes. The operator of the decoy usually sets up on the other side of the road, concealed as best as possible, while CO Josh Russell gets set up in the ditch with the controls for the decoy. CO Ken Lowell hides out at one end of the street, using an abandoned barn as cover.
A lot of times it's just being in the right spot at the right time and having the right people drive by. The decoys look real. They are actual mounts of deer with deer antlers, real antlers most of the time. So they look legit. It's just a matter of you have the right guy at the right time to want to take those deer. A lot of time it is a trespass issue because a lot of this is private ground around here, and some of these rural roads that run through private ground where there's not a lot of houses make an ideal spot for a guy that maybe he's not having the luck he thought he should have somewhere else and picks a day to cruise around. They got to get their deer while they can, and that's usually why these decoys work.
Officers have a deer decoy set up on private property. CO Josh Russell is manning the controls.
So I'm just trying to give them a little bit of movement, not too much, because then they think, okay, something's really going on, but just enough to keep their attention.
While a group of COs, including Ken Lowell, are hiding nearby, ready to close in on anyone taking a shot. Shooting a decoy is a hefty fine. In addition to fines and court costs, there could also be restitution for damage done to the decoy. Near the end of their shift, a truck stops and a hunter gets out.
you say there's a truck between us?
He's in front of his truck. He might have rifle.
Is he looking in the field?
Deer decoy operations in Michigan are run for a very specific reason. Either officers in the area have received complaints of shining, shots fired after dark, or for trespassing. In Michigan's District 6, there have been reports of poaching in the area, and a dead doe was left on this private property earlier in the season. Plus, the area they have chosen to use the decoy is pretty isolated. Any potential road hunters will probably feel like no one is watching them.
If there's no houses, people can't see you, can't hear you, they think they're safe.
CO Josh Russell takes up his position in the brush as he is the decoy operator.
And now we wait.
And CO Ken Lowell finds a hiding spot at the end of the road.
If we pull out too far, we're going to give ourselves away to anybody cruising down the road, and we don't want to be visible.
A short time after the decoy is set up, a truck turns onto the road, stops, and a hunter gets out.
He's in front of his truck. He might have rifle.
Is he looking in the field?
Do you want me to approach him?
Yeah, stop him if you can. Do you shoot at the buck? I think we got one. Go ahead. Conservation officer.
Sounds like they had a vehicle pull up. A guy got out of the vehicle. Sounds like he did shoot the decoy or at the decoy, but he wasn't in his vehicle. But depending on who it is, likely does not have permission to hunt there, so we're gonna go see what we got.
Stay in the vehicle, stay in the vehicle. Yes, he did. What's going on, fellas?
We were hunting that property over here.
You're hunting what property? This property?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his property.
Okay. And then saw the deer and shot at it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, where's the gun?
Head down that way.
Over here.
Right over there?
I was out of the vehicle.
Okay. Okay. Well, where's the rifle at? Do you guys have permission to shoot on this property?
What?
Do you know the landowner over here?
Yes. We told each other that we could hunt each other's land.
Really?
He has a blind down at the end of the property.
What's the landowner's name?
You know, we just had talked to each other and said that we could
If you talk to him but you don't have his name,
yeah.
you don't know his name, but you've spoke to him about permission?
Right.
Okay.
The hunter says he has permission from the landowner, but after Officer Russell calls the landowner to verify, the hunter says he has not spoken to the landowner.
Just spoke to the landowner. We got people from the neighboring property. He wants to press charges for wreck trespass. So you knew you weren't supposed to shoot on the property then, is what I'm getting at.
Right, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I knew that I didn't have official permission. Back in the old days, before the original farmer sold the property. Mm-hmm. And then there's also Christensen property on the other side, and all three of us had given each other permission to hunt on this land.
Originally, but not since the new landowner. Okay.
But now that's been years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
The hunter also says he stepped away from the truck to shoot. A CO finds his casing 10 to 12 feet from the truck, verifying that part of his story.
Good work finding that, dude. Keep that.
Him walking out and actually stepping foot on the property and shooting saves him another ticket because you can't lean on the vehicle and fire from the vehicle.
So he's ticketed for trespassing and not shooting from the truck. The trespass penalty is $510.
All right, I'm gonna go take a look at the decoy, make sure it's not, yeah, I'm gonna grab, yeah. We did not find any kind of hit on the deer. I think that bump was there. I don't think they hit it.
This does not affect your hunting at this point, so you can continue to hunt and try to fill your tags. Okay.
This is what we're out here doing, catching people shooting at deer when they're not supposed to from a motor vehicle and wreck trespass. So all in all, so far successful patrol.
The state of Michigan has placed a high priority in recent years on trying to limit the spread of chronic wasting disease, or CWD.
We do have some issues in the state right now. Some areas, the populations overall are where we want them to be. In small areas, there'll be too many or too few, but overall, where we want them to be. Perhaps the biggest issue we're dealing with right now are wildlife disease related to the deer herd, and we're trying to get a handle on those things.
CWD has been found in more than 20 states, and finding deer coming in from those states is important because CWD can be transmitted in a number of ways.
So these prions, or these misfolded proteins, can be shed from the animal in urine, saliva, and feces, as well as staying in the carcass of a dead animal. So a dead carcass, a dead deer, can actually be infectious for chronic wasting disease.
The only way a deer from out of state is allowed to be brought into Michigan is if it has been processed or deboned. And no brain matter can be brought in, just antlers, hide, or a finished mount. One way they've done that is by patrolling the state's borders in an effort to reduce the number of whole deer being brought in from out of state.
Several years ago, a few of the officers, we were always trying to think of new investigative techniques and sort of new patrol techniques, and we had openly sort of discussed contacting people bringing in deer from chronic waste disease positive states. Just started watching every vehicle coming in, and you end up being cross-eyed after 5 or 6 hours of it. But then, as I was able to identify the whole deer carcass coming into the state, I've got a chase vehicle further down, further east of our location. Call it out, and then they made the stop, and then the interview and the investigative portion starts.
On this day in Michigan's District 7, CO Andy Bauer is set up just inside the Michigan-Indiana border.
It's a flatbed white truck, right? Not a trailer, correct? Correct. It's almost like a wrecker style.
Right, I just saw it. It's confirmed it was in the hammer lane here at Maudlin. So it is not a trailer. It looked like a white Ford truck, flatbed. Looked like a deer right on the back of the cab, I guess.
I got eyes on.
When Conservation Officer Bauer spots a truck crossing the state line from his perch on an overpass, he radios CO Sekam Keo Polichan, who picks up the truck a couple of miles down the interstate.
Station 27, 125, copy, traffic stop. Location's eastbound on I-94, mile marker 7.4. It is a white pickup truck with a flat bed. this 125 I got eyes on.
Conservation officers in Michigan's District 7 spotted this white truck coming into the state with 2 deer in the back. You are no longer allowed to bring in deer from out of state unless it has been processed or deboned.
We're sort of surrounded by CWD positive states now, and it's a battle. And this is just something that we can do. We can spend a day a year or 2 days a year with our resources trying to bring these deer in. And whether we're successful or not remains to be seen, I guess, the rest of the day today.
CO Sekum Keo Polichan has the truck pulled over on the side of the highway.
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen? You doing all right today?
Yeah.
All right. The reason we're stopping you is seeing that you guys got some deer.
Yep.
So we're just gonna check and see where they're coming from. Okay. Make sure that you guys are in compliance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I get your IDs, hunting licenses and stuff like that.
Yep.
Where are you guys coming from?
Kansas.
Kansas? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are from Cadillac?
Yeah.
All righty. These are both Kansas. I guess he's got a farm or something out there. But I'm gonna go run him.
We got him south of Warren Road.
Kansas is one of the states with CWD. These 2 deer will be seized.
Did you tell them we're going to take the deer yet?
Not yet. No.
I'll do that.
Okay.
How we doing, fellas? Appreciate the cooperation. You understand what we're doing, right? Yeah.
He just told us.
Yeah.
We thought it was just the brains that you couldn't bring back.
I mean,
Brains, any bones? Yeah.
It's my fault because he doesn't even know. It's my farm. I mean, I left proof of sex. I cut that
all
off.
of it.
I mean,
yeah.
I've been out there for 10 years, and I've been lived in Michigan my whole life.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And it's all about us not spreading this any further than it has. You know what I mean?
So it's in the bones then?
Bones, brains, all spinal column. If you talk to processors in some of these other states, they cooperate with the fact, they cooperate with the hunters, and if you say, hey, I'm going back to Michigan with this deer, they'll process that deer in such a manner that you only bring back boned out meat and a cleaned out skull cap if it's a male deer and you want to retain the horns. Whether or not it's people that just are not aware of that, or they plan on processing their own deer, that is where the problem comes, and then these deer are brought back. Look at that dandy rack. Holy smokes. Oh my God.
Gross 197. I've been after him.
Okay, that's awesome.
4 years, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And then these are antlerless?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to seize those deer, and they're going to be tested and incinerated. It just, we got to be careful, and that's why we're here today or whatever. And we really appreciate your cooperation and your understanding, because we understand that you just didn't know. You know, we get it. We understand it.
The deer are placed into biohazard bags so they can be transported to a lab for testing.
Try to get as much biological information of location these deer were harvested for our biologists, and then if they come back positive for chronic wasting disease, then we're going to share this information with Kansas, letting them know about CWD positive deer coming out of their state. No snow this year. Heavy deer. There's your ID and there's your citation.
Both hunters are ticketed for the illegal importation of a deer. That's a misdemeanor, and they paid $275 each in fines and costs.
The fact that CWD, it's a prion, it lives in the ground. If they were to find out later that, oh my goodness, I've brought this deer back wrong, I'm just going to throw it in the ditch and hopefully nobody finds out because I don't want a ticket. We don't want that either, because potentially if that deer was positive, that could be a hazardous site then, that location where that deer would be dumped. It's an awkward thing. I mean, you guys are hunters. You take this stuff seriously, and this is not something we're happy to have to do.
The 2 deer, along with 2 other deer seized during the patrol, dropped off the next day for transport to the lab. All 4 are tested, and all 4 were negative for CWD.
It is a concern, you know, when you're dealing with animals coming from other states, we have to keep in mind that you're not just moving that animal, you're kind of moving a whole ecosystem with that animal. So the deer that were harvested in Kansas and Illinois, fortunately the ones in Illinois came from the southwestern part of the state, and the one in Kansas came from the northeastern part of the state. So we were able to rule out CWD in those animals.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
I actually thought it would take me a lot longer to get one, but this has been pretty fun.
It is changing competitive tournament fishing as we speak.
Get in the boat! Get in the boat!
Do you know why I'm asking all these questions?
Probably think we're doing something illegal.
No, I'm just kind of curious why you're walking through the woods right now with a loaded firearm and no orange on.
The state of Michigan sells more than 1 million deer hunting licenses most years and is typically among the top 3 states nationally in deer licenses sold. However, the Great Lakes state also offers many other outdoor hunting activities to both residents and non-residents. In an effort to bring attention to the state's wide assortment of hunting opportunities, as well as to raise money for wildlife management in the state, hunters can apply to win the Pure Michigan Hunt. The most coveted tag that's included in the Pure Michigan Hunt prize package is almost certainly the elk tag.
Elk management is just such a unique opportunity in Michigan because we have them here, but they're really not throughout the state. They're really kind of centered in this area. They're a very highly managed population, and they're just so unique for this area, and people are so passionate about them. 2018
marks the 100th anniversary of Michigan's current elk herd. After the native herd disappeared in the late 1800s, elk were reintroduced in 1918 when 7 animals were released in the northern Lower Peninsula. As the herd grew, so did the area that they occupy. Michigan strives for a population of 500 to 900 elk and uses hunting seasons to control the population and distribution. In 2017, the Michigan DNR estimated the state's elk herd at 1,200 animals.
We want to keep it within that range because we know above that range we get impacts to the landscape, and below that range we get less opportunities for viewing.
Michigan has nearly 1 million registered boats, third most in the country, and the state boasts more than 11,000 inland lakes in addition to bordering 4 of the 5 Great Lakes.
Boating in Michigan is really second to none. We have the longest freshwater coastline in the U.S. We have over 1,300 boating access sites for a lot of different boating styles. Your yachts on the Great Lakes to your sailboats on the Great Lakes and larger inland lakes, down to your canoes, kayaks.
The state as a whole is approximately 96,000 square miles in size, and over 41% of that area is covered by water. In Michigan's District 3, conservation officers Andrea Ehret and Andrea Albert are on marine patrol during a busy summer weekend.
It's the Venetian Festival, so that's our busiest week altogether for boating in Charlevoix County. You get a lot of inexperienced boaters and rental boats, so you make sure and check for lights.
Okay.
All right, Donna.
I know it's your dinghy, right? Is it your dinghy?
Yeah.
Do you have it registered?
Yeah, what?
Okay. Oh my goodness, you do have life jackets in there.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Impressive.
Yeah, we're just on Sea Dock.
You're just on what?
We're just on Sea Dock.
Sea Dock? Okay. All right. Where are you guys out of? What state?
Canadian.
You're Canadian? Oh. Sault Ste. Marie?
You're Canadian.
Okay, all right.
You guys don't have to register those, do you?
In Canada?
Your little.
Oh, not this size.
Yeah, okay.
Like we're on a 35 footer. That has to be registered.
Right, yeah. All right, well, that's all we were checking.
The Canadian province of Ontario does not require registration for pleasure crafts using motors less than 10 horsepower. Michigan conservation officers generally honor this regulation.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having a life jacket with you. That's great. Yeah. Appreciate it.
In Michigan, obtaining an elk hunting license requires one of two things: patience or luck. In 2017, 40,000 hunters entered the drawing for an opportunity to purchase one of 200 available licenses. 100 of these licenses are valid for the early season, which starts during the last week of August. In District 3, elk hunter Michelle Ketchum has downed a bull and needs to have her elk checked by a biologist from the state.
I'm just going to cut a tooth out.
Okay.
Right here. But I wanted to get the mouth so I can look at his teeth back in here so I can kind of estimate the age.
It's been exciting. He's a nice 6x6. Said it's pretty typical of the Michigan bulls. And pretty proud of him. Saying about 6.5 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling him. Now the lab will dissect the tooth that we took, and they will be able to give you an accurate age.
Okay.
They'll give you the real age. I'm giving you my guess.
It's a field estimate.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's awesome.
He's beautiful.
Michelle Ketchum had a license to hunt elk because she won the Pure Michigan Hunt. This contest has been held annually since 2009 and is open to anyone, including Michigan residents and non-residents, for an unlimited number of entries for $5 per application.
If you are a chosen winner, actually our wildlife division chief calls you on the phone to tell you you're a winner, and many times they don't believe him. They don't believe that it's really him or that someone, is pretending to be him. It's pretty funny. They figure their buddy's up to it or something like that. So they are astounded to be a winner.
Well, I've put in for this for every year since it started, and I usually only apply once each year. So I was pretty surprised that I was chosen. And it's been a busy year. Well, it's going to be a busy fall.
3 winners are chosen, and all 3 receive a variety of Michigan hunting licenses, though non-residents are not eligible for the elk tag.
Any elk, bear, spring and fall turkey, antlerless deer, and then you get first pick opening morning at a managed waterfowl hunt area. So these are unique licenses because with the elk, for instance, you can hunt in either hunt period. You could choose to hunt early and maybe just get choosy, just take your pick, if you will. And then in December, you could harvest, where a normal license, you're assigned either the early hunt or the late hunt.
Besides getting hunting licenses, Pure Michigan Hunt winners receive a wide assortment of hunting gear and other perks valued at over $4,000.
When those winners are awarded, we tell them bring a truck, bring a trailer. They're bringing home all sorts of gear.
Pure Michigan Hunt has been amazing. Did turkey hunting in the spring, came here elk hunting, saw a bunch of them in the field early in the morning, and none of those really looked like shooters. So then we spotted 4 more moving over on the other side and kind of stalked them for a little bit. Made 2 shots and he started wobbling and fell.
Michigan's Pure Michigan Hunt prices do not include any fishing licenses. Regardless, the state offers tremendous opportunities for anglers with more than 11,000 inland lakes and over 36,000 miles of rivers and streams. Michigan offers anglers an opportunity at over 150 species, and one of the most popular is bass.
Get in the boat! Get in the boat!
To take advantage of this opportunity, Outdoor Channel's Major League Fishing descended on eastern Michigan for one of their episodes. Major League Fishing has set the gold standard for keeping fish healthy when it comes to tournament fishing.
It is changing competitive tournament fishing as we speak.
Each fish that was caught during filming for this episode of Major League Fishing benefited by not being out of the water for an extended period of time.
1 pound, 9 ounces.
That'll work, baby. Oh, man.
It's a cool deal. I mean, your traditional tournaments, you catch them, you live well them,
And then you bring them in and you weigh them and then you release them. And you know, it puts a lot of stress on the fish doing that. You know, they get bounced around and it's not good oxygen in the water. And then we take them out of the water, hold them up, and you know, the fish are going through a lot of issues throughout that day. And this deal with Major League Fishing, it's a strictly, you know, you catch it and it goes right back in the water. 115. All right, let's catch us another one. Catch us another one more.
I don't know a bass fishing tournament angler that doesn't want the fish they capture to survive, because that's their hobby. That's what they love to do. They want to go back out and catch that 5-pounder, 6-pounder. If it dies, they don't have that opportunity. Or some kid who's fishing doesn't have that opportunity.
In addition to weighing the fish quickly and returning them to the water, Major League Fishing anglers must abide by other specific rules or risk-facing penalties during a tournament.
We don't chunk them in the water. We kneel down, release them below the gunnel. If we don't do that, then we get a penalty.
I don't care what tournament it is and how well you take care of the fish, there always seems to be some fish that do die. And we're to the point now where we've had enough. We can't do that anymore.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Good one, stay on, baby, stay on. Stay on! Yeah, yes. Yes!
These bass anglers, they just want good populations of bass. And the best way to do that is to maintain the population through reducing harvest or mortality.
Get in the boat, get in the boat! Oh, I knew it, baby, I knew it. I knew there'd be one up in the back of this stuff.
Michigan's Firearm deer season opens on November 15th each year and runs through November 30th. It's the most heavily patrolled time of the year for the state's 250 conservation officers, who look forward to the increase in activity. In Michigan's District 4, Officer Mike Wells is on the lookout for hunters not wearing hunter's orange and other obvious violations.
We're always out on patrol. We're always checking deer hunters. Hopefully when this fog breaks, we'll be able to do some field checks, see if we can see anybody dragging some deer in from the field, and just do basic checks and check licenses and everything else and make sure that everybody that's out in the woods is not only having fun but being legal while they're doing it.
As a conservation officer, we are constantly on patrol, especially during the busy times of the year. Firearm deer season being one of them. We probably make more contacts in that 2-week period than we do during any other season. As we patrol around, we make contacts with hunters coming out of the woods, going into the woods. We make contacts with hunters at gas stations. Any place that they may be, we run into them.
Go ahead and lock that back up, sir, if you could. How'd you get through the fog this morning? The fog's really hampering the hunting. Yeah. I worked the middle zone of the county yesterday and it was thick down there. It was really thick. I mean, it really hampered, visibility and distance, and really hampered the number of shots I normally hear on the opening day.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Okay, guys, you're all set. Good luck this evening, okay? Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. Appreciate that, guys.
During Officer Wells' morning patrol, he did not encounter or observe any violations. In addition to driving the roads of his district to talk to hunters, CO Wells also likes to get a feel for what's going on in his area by visiting some of the local deer processors.
Every once in a while when we do inspections on processors, we do come across violations. We come across violations of unvalidated deer tags, violations of the improper tag actually put on the deer. I actually had a situation several years ago where a guy tagged his deer with his fishing license. So it does happen. People do make mistakes, and there's also those times where people intentionally make mistakes. Now, we're not out to get everybody that just made a mistake. We're out looking for those people that have intention to violate the law.
Even though the sun is set, Officer Wells is still on patrol. As he headed to another call, he came across 2 hunters in the road.
Do you know why I'm asking all these questions?
Probably think we're doing something illegal.
No, I'm just kind of curious why you're walking through the woods right now with a loaded firearm and no orange on.
During marine patrols, Michigan conservation officers are on the lookout for a variety of things as they try to make sure those whom they observe and contact are enjoying the resources legally and safely. In District 3, conservation officers Andrea Arrett and Andrea Albert have spotted a miner on a personal watercraft without a life jacket.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, on the jet ski? Hi, conservation officers. The reason we're stopping you is this young man needs a life jacket on.
The boy's mother tells the officers that the life jacket is on the boat next to them and that they were on their way to retrieve it.
Okay, we're gonna come up alongside you there, okay? All right. You cannot have him on this vessel without it, period. Yeah, did you have your lanyard hooked up? Either?
Yes. Here.
You did? Okay, you did have that. You had it hooked too? Okay, just go ahead and hold on to it for me.
In addition to the miner not wearing a life jacket, the personal watercraft does not have an up-to-date registration sticker.
Okay. Well, I believe what she's writing a ticket for is for the life jacket. That's our biggest concern.
Do you need them to bring him a life jacket to go over there?
Yeah.
Officers Arrett and Albert are assisted by 2 Charlevoix Sheriff's Department deputies in retrieving a life jacket for the miner.
Is this one yours?
This one.
Well, it's a civil infraction, so it's not a misdemeanor, it's just a civil infraction.
All right, what I did is we gave you a break and we warned you for not having your certificate of registration or tags on board.
Okay.
And just wrote you for fail to provide the proper life preserver for your passenger on the personal watercraft.
Okay.
All right, have a nice day. Take care.
In this case, the court-ordered fine was $60.
Do you know why I'm asking all these questions?
Probably think we're doing something illegal.
No, I'm just kind of curious why you're walking through the woods right now with a loaded firearm and no orange on.
In Michigan's District 4, Officer Mike Wells has come across a hunter who was not wearing any blaze orange while tracking his deer. Hunter orange must be worn by all hunters during firearm deer season. The orange must be on a cap, hat, vest, jacket, or rain gear, and must be a hunter's outermost garment and must be visible from all sides of the hunter.
So basically what happened was is you shot the deer out of your blind and you got down out of your blind and started tracking it. And you took the long travel all the way over here.
I did. I walked through the swamp
and you're telling me that your orange is back in the blind.
Well, what I got.
Well, what do you got?
A hat.
Well, that would be legal. Oh. The problem is you're walking through the woods right now with a loaded firearm and you don't have any orange on.
If you're walking across property without orange on, somebody may unfortunately misidentify you, and we could have a very tragic ending to that.
What would you do right now if you found the deer? Because it's obvious to me you probably were in stand without your licenses.
Yeah, my license is at home in Wall.
When I asked him for his license, he was unable to produce it. He did not have a license on him. At that time, he did admit, I asked him where his licenses were at. He stated that they were back at his house.
Even though you're on your property, you still have to have your licenses on your person. They got to be on your body. Because if you're tracking this way and you find this deer, what are you going to do? I mean, you don't have a tag to tag it. So if you decide to start dragging it without a tag, now it goes to an untagged deer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not poaching. I'm not going to call that poaching. That's an untagged deer. Poaching is when you shoot the deer and you didn't have a license to do it in the first place. You know, if you got a license, you just didn't have it on you, it doesn't mean you're out there trying to kill deer illegally. It's just you made a mistake and left the license at home.
I asked him if there was anybody home that could possibly bring his license out to the location. And he did confirm his wife was home. He made a call there and she brought out a single license.
So do you think there's a chance you're going to find this deer tonight, or you think it's pretty well, did you have any blood at all?
I think it was a miss.
You think it was a miss?
I don't.
Okay.
Upon inspection of that license, it was an antlerless permit for outside the actual area that he was hunting at.
Okay, there's your driver's license back, and there are your deer licenses, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write you a citation for hunting deer without license. Okay, you've been decent with me, okay?
I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you.
Okay. Oh, you're not.
I screwed up there.
You had deer licenses back, that was just like you said, you just made a mistake and got the wrong ones. Okay.
The hunter had an antlerless tag for a different county altogether, not for the land he was on when C.O. Wells found him blood trailing a deer.
The majority of the people we deal with are good folks, and we catch them at a bad time. We catch them because they had a tough deer season, and maybe they didn't draw an antlerless permit and they shot an antlerless deer because they wanted the meat. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're hardcore criminals or anything else like that.
What I did is I issued you a single charge for firearms to hunt deer, no license, okay? I circled MISD, which stands for misdemeanor, okay? Under that charge. There's one right below here that says violation of hunter's orange, but I circled WARN, which stands for warning, okay? So I'm just letting the magistrate know that there was something else here I gave you a break for tonight.
In this case, for hunting without a license, the court-ordered fine was $250.
When conservation officers are out patrolling, the majority of our contacts that we make are persons that are legal. They're just out enjoying the day. They're out hunting. I'm a deer hunter myself. I really enjoy talking to people that have the same interests that I have. And I think to a certain degree, the honest people that are out there, when they see the conservation officer on patrol and they make contact with him, it makes them feel a little bit safer. Not only that, it keeps those people that may be thinking about possibly violating the law, it keeps them on the right side of the line.
Okay guys, well, good luck.